Hi friends, I'm Amanda's Playlist and I've decided I think I want to start trying to expand my content to YouTube. You know, that's my intention and we're still figuring out the logistics. On my TikTok, I share my artist and music recommendations. I talk about my vinyl collection and a little bit of my vinyl addiction. And just anything about music because I fucking love music. I don't know if I can curse on YouTube. Some of you may or may not know, but vinyl is booming. Us music fans spent more money on vinyl than CDs for the first time since 1986 in 2020. And I can only imagine it's gone up from there. I started collecting vinyl about a year and a half ago, and I just wanted to come on here and share my tips and experiences for new collectors. And I am by no means an expert. I'm just a very passionate music fan and love vinyl and love to talk about it. So, the first step for any collector is finding what record player to get. Now, I've only gone through two record players since I started collecting. In my opinion, I would skip starting with the suitcase players that you can find from places like Crosley or like the ones you see in Urban Outfitters. I almost got that as my first one, and I'm glad I didn't. And it literally got lost in the mail. I feel like that was a sign from above not to get the suitcase player. It just doesn't have the best sound quality, and because the platter on those turntables are only 10 inches and records are 12 inches, there's a big chance of it becoming warped over time. And you don't want to ruin your records after spending your money on investing in them. So, what I started with was the Audio Technica LP60X Bluetooth. I think this is a great, affordable record player to start with. I believe when I bought it, it was around $150, but I think it's now selling for about 200. I think that's just a result of vinyl booming. I was really happy with the Audio Technica for a while, and I still have it, but I use it as a backup secondary player. What I currently have is the Spin Deck by Andover Audio. They were kind enough to send it to me because of what I post on TikTok, and the difference is insane. The aesthetic is very sleek and the sound quality is a lot better. Not that Audio Technica's is bad, but it just comes with getting a more advanced player. There's other companies people get their higher quality record players from, like Crosley, U-Turn, Fluence, Andover Audio, and Audio Technica. But I don't know the details about those because that's just not what I own. So the next thing you're going to need is a speaker. Now, there are record players that you are able to just play the sound directly from the turntable, but whenever I've heard those do not sound good. Like, it is not the way you want to be listening to music. The whole point of getting a record player is the quality of the music that vinyl creates. So, you want a good speaker. Now, because my Audio Technica was Bluetooth, I had that connect to my UE Boom Bluetooth speaker, which is a great speaker. It's always what I stream with, and I highly recommend it for a beginner. I know you can also get like the Beats Pill, any kind of Bluetooth speaker that you enjoy is totally fine. Another popular speaker that a lot of vinyl collectors use is the Edifier speakers, which are pretty affordable and work well. So not all players come with the Bluetooth feature, some do, some don't. Some are just either the preamp or the aux, like the phono aux. I don't know. I'm not a tech person. But I know that my spin bass, I connect with the aux cords, if that's the correct term for them. I'm not getting into that. Again, I'm not a tech person. And that connects to the spin bass I also received from Andover Audio. The spin bass is a awesome, sleek speaker that sits right under the record player without vibrating it. There's some whack ass technology in there that allows you to put the speaker under the record player, which is usually a big no-no, without vibrating it, and it's perfect. It works perfectly, and the speaker is amazing. Like, I never knew I needed it in my life until I upgraded from my UE Boom to that spin bass. But again, either way is great. Then the next step is to get a storage unit to store your vinyl. I started with this random drawer I had in my house that was big enough to fit vinyl and put that in there until that no longer served me because my addiction had me buy way too many vinyl. I then upgraded to these Target shelves that I got. I'll link those below, which I really liked because they have the back to them so that your vinyl don't like shuffle around or fall out the back, which I know happens to a lot of people I know. And the reason is because a big storage unit that vinyl collectors use is like the IKEA Calyx cubes, which are just cubes with no um border in the back. So, you have to get like the shelf spacers to be able to keep your vinyl in place. I like to avoid that. So right now, I had to expand from that Target one, and now I use a like ladder shelf that I found that has a back and it fits the size of the vinyl. Just go search it on the internet. Find what fits you and your space. The biggest tip though is that you want to store your vinyl standing up, not leaning on one another, and definitely not stacked on top of each other. That way you prevent any damage from happening to your records. And to also prevent from your records getting damaged, you need a cleaning kit. Well, you don't need it, but I highly recommend it. I say this as a terrible cleaner myself. So, I currently have the Big Fudge cleaning kit, which comes with a velvet brush, a brush that cleans the velvet brush, and a needle brush to clean off the dust that will form on the needle. It also came with a bottle of spray, which I ran out of and then ended up buying the Boundless Solution spray. It's a huge bottle, it's lasted me forever. Great. So every time I get a new record, I take it out of the packaging, I spray some of the Boundless solution onto the velvet brush, and I just run it around the vinyl a few times, collecting the dust. That's the only time I really wet clean it, and then after that, and when I play the vinyl again, I will just use the velvet brush to wipe the vinyl before each play, just to collect any dust that may have come on in between transfers in the jacket, whatever. And then whenever you see dust on your needle, or maybe you hear that there's a bit of static or muffled sound when you're playing your record, that might indicate that you have dust on the needle. So that's where that needle brush comes in. There's a whole bunch of different products and ways that you can clean your vinyl. This is just what I do. If you want me to get more into that, we can get more into that. And along with cleaning, you want to protect your vinyl because you just spent God knows how much. And you want to make sure it lasts and it sounds good because the whole point of getting vinyl is for it to sound good. And I like the aesthetic of it too. Just, the ambiance of the room, playing a record, sipping on coffee or alcohol. It's great. Anyway, you do not have to do any of this, but again, I recommend outer sleeves and inner sleeves. I will have both the ones I use linked below. So I get the inner sleeves with the rice paper because it is supposed to keep away static on the vinyl. And this is just to protect the actual vinyl itself. Then you get the outer sleeve, which is to protect the vinyl sleeve because personally, I don't want scratches or creases or the sleeve to wear over time, so I like to keep that protected. And the best part of record collecting is getting the records. It's my favorite pastime. There's nothing I love more than going to the record store, smelling the air, going crate digging for what could be hours is the time where my brain is the most satisfied. Yeah, we all have issues. Anyway, there's many places and ways that you can buy vinyl. There's the big sellers like Amazon, Target, Walmart, Urban Outfitters. You can even go to Best Buy, Barnes& and Noble, etc. A lot of times these big sellers will have certain exclusives, like there's Urban Outfitters exclusives, there's Target exclusives, etc. There's also smaller stores, smaller indie stores that you can either go to in person or online, like Rough Trade, Cardinal Record Co., Brooklyn Vegan. Then there are also vinyl subscription websites. The biggest one being Vinyl Me Please. I've bought from them a couple times. Bandbox, Magnolia Record Club, and Cardinal Record Co. actually just started a subscription program as well. If you want me to go into more details about those, let me know, but for now it's just going to be an overview. You can also go to any local record store that you have near you. That's the best. Support your local record store. And then there's the ever haunting resale market. It's not a place I like to shop at a lot, only desperate times. Now, a big thing about records is the exclusivity and rarity of them. There are some records that can be pressed in large amounts, they'll be available forever, and yeah, you can get it anywhere. But there are some that are very, very hard to find that many people seek. And if you can only guess, the resale prices for those are not friendly. They are not friendly. So, before we get into that, there's a bunch of resale apps. The two big vinyl resale apps are Discogs and Nasdisc. Discogs I am the most familiar with. Nasdisc is newer. On Discogs, I love that app. You can catalog your entire vinyl collection and it gives you a range of your collection worth. Then it also tells you what the resale value of those vinyl are specifically. Here's an example of a very sought after vinyl, the range of its resale price, and this is the reason I will never have it. But there are some collectors out there who will pay the money for this, and that's totally up to your preference. There's also apps like Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, Facebook Marketplace. People post all over the place. They even post in Reddit, or there's also a Facebook record group that people post their listings in. You can find them anywhere, and sometimes it's like a hunt trying to find what you want. You know what? It may pop up one day. So, the more rare and the more wanted it is, typically the bigger artists, the resale prices are going to be high. And if you want me to get more into that in another video, I would love to. But moral of that story is decide what kind of record collector you want to be. Personally, I am not a variant collector. I will not pay over retail for a record, no matter how there's nothing I want that bad that I am willing to pay more than retail for, but that is some people's preference. And if you have the money, fuck, do it. And the most important part of all this is get records you enjoy. Get albums from artists that you enjoy. Have fun with it. I love coming home and being able to spin a vinyl at the end of my day. I love the days I work from home when I can spin vinyl all day. I just love the ambiance, and I just love having my artist's favorite music in physical format. I will link everything I mentioned below. I would also love to take any suggestions for specific content you want. Again, I talk about anything music. I love music. So, yeah, if you are a vinyl collector and you also are really passionate about music, subscribe to my channel. I think that is a good overview of record collecting for beginners and how to just get yourself started. Thanks to those who watched. I hope this helps even the slightest bit, and I will see you next time.